Carrier, right? Carrier air conditioning. So my son Eric, who's here with Don, they said, you know, we ought to write a letter. These are activist sons. They're actually great sons. These are great sons. There they are. And they said, you know, we ought to write a letter to with Carrier last week. It's very battered, unless, you know, I went to the best school, and you don't have to go to the best school. You don't have to go through high school to understand it. What they're doing is they announced 1,400 jobs. They just fired everybody. And they said, we're moving to Mexico. And somebody took a cell phone. A lot of people are moving to Mexico. It's become like the new China. And they took a cell phone. 1,400 people were devastated. Now they say they're going to go to Mexico. So if I'm the president, here's what we do. We write them a little note. We congratulate them in their move. We hope it goes well. We hope they don't have too many cost overruns when they build their new beautiful building. And we tell them the following. We tell them that every time you make an air conditioning unit, and every time you send that unit into the United States, you're going to pay a 35% tax, okay? 35%. And it's going to be amazing how those numbers are going to change, right? It's going to be amazing. And I don't care. And they're going to call me. They won't even bother with the lobbyists because the lobbyists won't have given me money. The special interests won't have given me money. Their donors won't have given me money. When I went to the last debate, you saw that mess. I didn't have anybody there. I had my sons, my wife, I had a couple of people there. And the whole room was stacked with special interests and donors. And guys got up and spoke so badly, and the audience went crazy. And I looked, and I knew half the people in the room. They're all special interest guys. One represented pharmaceuticals. You know, I mean, you look, we've got to put our country back together. It's a mess. It's a mess. We got to do it. So, as an example, the drug companies. A doctor comes up to me, very big doctor. He says to me, you know, Donald, we're dying with Obamacare. It's a killer. It's no good. Not working. It's not working. He tells me he has more accountants than he has nurses. Not too good, right, to hear that. But he said, you know that they don't bid out drugs with the largest drug buyer in the world, the United States, and we don't bid them out. I said, well, I'm surprised to hear that, but not that surprised because the drug companies and pharmaceutical companies are all making massive campaign contributions to the people I'm running against and to all the others. And I say, I will. But I won't use that expression because I'll get in trouble with these people. They'll say, do you know what he just said? It was so, right? So I won't say it, but we will do that. We will do exactly what you said. So I said what happened. I said, yeah, that's okay. You can sit down. I said what happened is that they're all being taken care of. If we bid out pharmaceuticals, drugs, and those things, we would save each year $300 billion. $300 billion as a country. Now, you have that with the military going on because the military outfits that make the weapons, even if their weapons... What's wrong? Do you have a little protester? Get him the hell out. Get him out. Oh, get him out. Where's the protester? Where is he? I don't even see him. Look, I love protesters because the only way the cameras turn and show how big the audience is when there's a protester. Otherwise, they never turn. I love protesters. Don't worry, it's okay. You know, for a long time, I didn't know these guys. It was like solid. They're on my face. And you know the story. I've said it before. My wife, I go home. I say, how did I do? Did you see how big the crowd was? I've had 35,000 people, 25,000, 20. We have the biggest crowds by far of anybody. Much bigger than Bernie, although I will say Bernie is second. He is second, but much bigger. But I think he's heading down. He's heading down. Looks like Bernie's heading down. Looks like Hillary's going to get a pass on her email scandal. But we will be bringing it up. We'll be bringing it up. Looks like we're going to be running against Hillary, which is good. How did she get a pass on that deal? How? Right? It won't happen. It won't happen. It won't happen. So with these cameras, so they never show the audience. So I said to my wife, did you see the size of that audience tonight? We had 25,000 people. Did you? No. They just keep it on your face. And then I realized they're instructed never, ever show the audience. And the other night, recently, I had 12,000 people. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I love it. You know, the other night we had 12,000 people. Bernie had 3,000. I turn on the television because I do like watching myself, to be totally honest. Okay. But I turn on the television and they're saying, Bernie Sanders had a massive crowd of 3,000 people. Bah, bah, bah. You know, the taxes, everything. Okay. Then they go to Trump. And Donald Trump spoke before a crowd today. I had 12,000 people. He had 3. So he had a massive crowd at 3. 12 they don't mention. This is really bad. These are the most dishonest people I think I've ever dealt with. It's true. It's true. They're bad people. Bad people. But we learn to live with it. Not all of them. They're not all bad. There's about 80% bad. 10% okay, 5% good, and 5% very good. All right? That's not bad. That's not bad. So, what I did on June 16th, we came out, we started talking about trade, how we're being ripped off with China, ripped off with Japan, ripped off with Mexico at the border and in trade, ripped off by Vietnam and by India and by every country, every single country, because they're all represented by these people that we think are representing us. That's why when I say I'm self-funding, folks, it means much more than you think. It means much more, I'm telling you. You know, if it's a tie, they should vote for me, is what I'm saying. And if it's like somebody 20% better than me, and I don't know why that would be possible, they should vote for me. Anything more than 20, 25%, go with the other guy. I will say this, look. These are the most dishonest people I've ever dealt with. Politicians. Now, I've dealt with them all my life, so I'm not surprised. It's not like I'm shaken up. But this guy, Cruz, lies more than any human being I've ever dealt with. Unbelievable. And he holds up the Bible, and he lies. And then he holds up the Bible again, and he lies. And you know, it was sort of cool, because at the last debate, Rubio, nice guy. Nice guy. No, but he looked across, and he said, you're a liar. And I've never heard a politician call another politician a liar. It was a thing of beauty. I've never heard it. So it then gave me cover. But he says so many things. You know, in the last election in South Carolina, the morning of the election, think of it. You think it's all done, and now you're going to wait around. You're going to have a nice, easy day. But tomorrow I'm going out to all the caucus sites, by the way, just in case you, okay? I'll be at a lot of them. And you better be there. If you're not there, I'm going to be so angry. I don't want to turn on the television and say, you know, Trump has the biggest crowds, the highest popularity. Everybody loves the job he's going to do, but his people were too damn lazy to go out and caucus. All right? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't make me have a miserable evening. And then after this, you know what happens, right? After this, we have the whole SEC. We're going to do so great. We have Georgia, Tennessee. We have so many great ones. We have Texas. I think we're going to do very well in Texas, I think. Because, you know, the evangelicals were supposed to go with Cruz. They were supposed to go with Cruz. But you know what? Honestly, I won the evangelicals by a lot. You saw that, right? Actually, I won everything. I won short people, tall people. True. I won fat people, skinny people. I won highly educated, okay educated, and practically not educated at all. I love them all. I won the evangelicals big, and I won the military. The military I won big. Big. I won the vets. The vets, oh, those vets. I love those vets. We're going to take care of those vets. We are going to take care of our vets, right? These are the greatest people. I meet so many, the wounded warriors. I love these people. They have more courage, more guts, I hate to say it, than all of us put together. These are the most courageous, most incredible people. And they always have a smile on their face when I meet them. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, they've taken some shots, and they are amazing people. We got to take care of those people. Those people are great. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those people. And we're going to take care of them. We're going to straighten out that VA mess. We're going to straighten out that corrupt. How about this? It's hard to even believe. It's not even like a believable number. 22 suicides a day. No, think of it from the vets. 22 suicides. That's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Look at the signs. Oh, that's so incredible. Wow. That's so incredible. I didn't know this. That is incredible. Who would think this? Who would think it's possible? That is absolutely incredible. I didn't know you were going to be doing that. That is good. So we're going to straighten out the vets. So vets, don't worry. We're coming. We're coming. We're going to straighten out a lot of things. We're going to get rid of Common Core. You know, we're last. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're going to make education local. Do you know, in the world, top 30 in the world, we're number 30. That means we're at the bottom of the list, but we're number 1 in terms of cost per pupil, by far. Number 2 doesn't even exist. Number 2 is so far away it doesn't even exist. We're number 30, and yet we're number 1 in the cost per pupil, right? So let's look at my campaign. I spent a lot of money, but I spent by far the least amount of money, and I'm by far number 1, okay? Isn't that good? Somebody else, I won't mention, but they were nasty to me. They took $25 million in negative ads. Can you believe it? $25 million, one guy. $25 million, and then I'm supposed to say he's a nice person, right? And they were phony ads. Well, I have one going on now, Cruz. He's got an ad, something to do with, I want to take away your land, and I want to keep it in the federal government. And I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. It's an ad. It's a Cruz ad. It's a Cruz scam. I'll tell you, so the evangelicals didn't vote for him. You know why? Because they don't like liars. They're really smart people. They don't want to vote for a liar. But it is true. I have an ad running right now. It's a Cruz ad. Something to do with, and a couple of people told me this, that I am backing the federal government to keep the land that's currently owned by the federal government, and we should give that land to everybody and divvy it up or something. I'm saying to myself, well, it's not a subject I know anything about. It's a hell of an ad, but this is a Cruz ad. This guy is sick. There's something wrong with this guy. On Saturday, when we had the vote, when we had the vote in South Carolina, Saturday, I wake up, I figure this is going to be a nice, easy day. So I get hit with a call from my management people, who, by the way, did a fantastic job. Corey, Hope, everybody. They're fantastic. And I get hit early in the morning that somebody did a robocall, but Cruz denied it. I said, wow, that's strange. Who would do a this is the day of the election. You just sort of don't do that stuff. You're not supposed to. But that I didn't mind. But the robocall had to do with the Confederate flag. This was not a good robocall to get at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then I had a second robocall at 12 o'clock. And the total lies, the whole thing was, I'll just tell you, I won't go into subject matter. A second robocall on election day. And it said, and this one had to do with gay marriage. And this goes to everybody in the area. This goes to everybody. South Carolina, incredible people. And I said, man, if I get hit with 2 robocalls like that, how can I possibly win? So I figured I was going to, how can you win? The people were so smart. And I won in a landslide. Can you believe that? We won in a landslide. I was going to tell you 2 other categories. I won with men, but that's not important to me. I won with women. That's very important. Very important. That. So we're doing really well. So we're sending a letter. We're sending a letter to Carrier. And in that letter, we're going to say that if I should win, we're going to come after you for a lot of money every time you send an air conditioner. We're sending a letter to Ford. I've been talking about Ford now for 2 years, right? Ford is building a $2.5 billion plant. I wish them a lot of luck. They're taking a lot of stuff out of Michigan and other places. Now, what's good? Tell me, from our standpoint. We have these really stupid trade deals. Every deal we make is stupid. Whether it's Sergeant Bergdahl, where it's 5 for 1, and 5 or 6 people got killed looking for him. So we get a traitor, and they get 5 killers that they've coveted for years, for 9 years. We get 1, they get 5. Ours is no good. We could have it. Let's send them back, drop them right in the middle of the damn thing. Boom, fly over. Fly over. Fly over, drop them. Maybe you give them a parachute, maybe you don't. I don't know. Depends if we have an extra parachute. Probably we'd give him a parachute if we have an extra one around. But it wouldn't help him. He went out into that world. He didn't find it too comfortable, folks, They slapped him around pretty good. He thought he was going to go out. He'd be treated wonderfully. I think they slapped him around pretty good. He came back. He couldn't get back fast enough. 5, maybe 6, probably 6 people were killed looking for him. And we had a general and a colonel that went to see his platoon and went to see his group, and they all said he deserted. And we knew he deserted when we made the deal. Now, why would you make a deal for a deserter? And give up 5 people who they most want, that are out trying to kill everybody, including us. Why would we give up? Why would we give up 5 killers? Why? For 1 dirty, rotten traitor. Because we have incompetent leadership. We have incompetent leadership. Think of it. We go into the Iran deal. It started when? Years ago. How long have they been negotiating? They called up, one of the newspapers called up, Mr. Trump, how long should that deal have taken? 1 day, I said. They said, well, I said, maybe 1 week. Hasn't that been years? Like 3 years, 3.5 years? So we should have demanded the prisoners back before we start negotiation. right? And we would have gotten them. You ratchet up, and you get up and you say, listen, we are going to ratchet up those sanctions. We want our prisoners back. You leave. You had to walk. They never walked from that deal. We were ridiculed in that deal. And then even at the end, as bad as the deal was, the worst thing that ever happened to Israel, that I can tell you, that deal is a disaster for Israel. The worst. The deal is no good. It's going to lead to nuclear proliferation. They're going to have nukes. They don't even have to develop them. They can buy them with $150 billion and have a lot of money left over. And where are they spending the 150? So they're not buying Boeing. They're not buying Boeing. They just ordered 118 Airbus jets made in Europe. They ordered missiles. I didn't know they could buy missiles. They ordered missiles from Russia, and they're all over Europe spending that money. The United States gets nothing. And then 2 days before we sent most of the money, they attack us, and they put our 10 sailors in a begging position on their knees with their hands up, with a guy with a rough mouth, a rough guy with a rough mouth. I'd like to smack the hell out of him. And he's barking orders like he's a big shot, and they have rifles at their heads. And this is our friends. And Obama addresses their leader as the supreme leader. And he says the supreme leader. And Obama refuses to issue the words radical Islamic terrorism. And when I call for a boycott, we're doing that out of intelligence. We're doing that because we want to keep our country strong and safe. And we have no choice. Believe me. So we have some amazing things going on in this country, but we're going to make it so strong. We're going to make it so strong. One of the things I most look forward to doing is taking our military and just reworking it, getting the equipment they want, not equipment that was gotten for political gain by some guy that has control of a company that's good with the senators, some of whom I'm running against, okay? We are going to make it so strong. All right, so here's what we do. We are going to now talk for 2 seconds about Obamacare, because it is a subject that's very close to my heart, and it's killing our country. It's going to fail of its own weight by 17. It's going to fail of its own weight. It's going down, folks. It's going down. It's going to fail like you've never seen. But the Republicans, unless I'm there, will come and bail it out, because they always bail it out. They bailed it out with this horrible budget from 4 weeks ago. Obamacare is going to be repealed and replaced. Obamacare. We're going to have a strong country again, and Obamacare has to go. We can't afford it. It's no good. You're going to end up with great health care for a fraction of the price, and that's going to take place immediately after we go in, okay? Immediately. Fast. Quick. What? Okay, it's not working for you, right? Not working. Okay. By the way, does it work for anybody? Let me ask you. Does it work for anybody? Nobody. We get it changed. We get it changed. We get it fixed. It'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Wise guys. We got wise guys. You know, sometimes you'd like to sit down with a guy like that. If you talk to somebody like that for a couple of minutes, I really think, unless, there's other motives, which there often are, but you talk to somebody like that for 15 minutes, what do we all want? We want security, we want safety, we want a home, we want a great family, we want health care, we want good jobs, right? I mean, whether you're a liberal Democrat, a conservative Republican, don't we all sort of, if you think about it, we want security. We want strong, strong security because our country now is in trouble. Now look, when it comes, and when I first came down, I said trade, but I said the border. That border is going to be so strong, and the Syrians cannot be allowed to come in, folks. We don't know who the hell they are. We don't know who they are. We don't know who they are. There's no paperwork. There's no documentation. Do you ever look at that migration? You say, look at all the young men. Where are the women? Where are the children, right? Take a look at what's happening to Germany. It is a disaster what's happening to Germany. What's happening to Sweden. What's happening to Brussels. You just take a look. It's not going to happen to our country. We're going to make our country... We're going to make our country stronger than ever before. If you look at our GDP for the last quarter, we had no growth. We had no growth. We're losing jobs. We have a phony jobs number. They say it's down to 5%. The real number is 25%. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't be having crowds like this at every stadium. The real number, and that 5% number, is a number that was devised by politicians to look good. Believe me, that's just to look good. And the jobs they're talking about, and everybody admits it, these are bad jobs. These are crummy jobs. These aren't the jobs they want. And the part-time jobs are all over the place. People working part-time jobs that never had a part-time job. So we're going to take our jobs back from China and all of these other countries. I have a friend. He's a great contractor. And he's a great merchandiser. And he cannot get his product into China. No matter what he does, he can't. They send their product. Oh, bye-bye. Good job, fella. Bye-bye. Look, see, he's smiling. See, he's having a good time. I love the old days, You know what I hate? There's a guy totally disruptive, throwing punches. We're not allowed to punch back anymore. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true. I love our police, and I really respect our police, and they're not getting enough. They're not. But honestly, I hate to see that. Here's a guy throwing punches, nasty as hell, screaming at everything else when we're talking. And he's walking out, and we're not allowed, the guards are very gentle with him. He's walking out like big high fives, smiling, laughing. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. It brings up something. 2 debates ago, they hit Ted Cruz with a question. And this guy's so overrated, it's ridiculous. They hit him with a question. I always say about Ted Cruz, he can debate, but he can't talk. Does that make sense? But they hit him with a question on waterboarding. And they said, what do you think of waterboarding? Is it good? And, he got really all messed up. He couldn't answer the question. He was a mess. And because he didn't want to say waterboarding's a good thing. And now waterboarding nothing's pretty, but they're chopping off heads. Right? They're chopping off heads. They're drowning people in steel cages, leaving them in the ocean for an hour and then lifting them up after many, many people drown. But they're chopping off heads, and they're saying to themselves, can you believe how weak and pathetic the Americans are? So they're asking Ted Cruz, what do you think of waterboarding? Well, what do I say? I want to be politically correct. Waterboarding It's so terrible. Waterboarding is so, even though they're chopping off heads, waterboarding is so. He couldn't answer the question. He was like a mess. Then they said to me, what do you think of waterboarding? I said, I think it's great, but I don't think we go far enough. And the whole place, it's true. It's true. True, right? We don't go far enough. We don't go far enough. And now the press will write tomorrow, Trump is a mean guy. I'm not a mean guy. I'm not a mean guy. I'm just a guy that doesn't want to be pushed around by a bunch of animals. These are animals. So there won't be any more Fords going to Mexico. There won't be any more different trades going to Mexico. I don't eat Nabisco anymore, frankly. I don't eat Oreos anymore, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. But when they announced they're moving their plant into Mexico, it's not going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen. So we're going to be very smart. Now, here's what happened. Carl Icahn, great businessman, he endorsed me. Other great businessmen, they endorsed me. We have some of the most important deals we're making now are trade deals. To me, security is the most important thing always, okay? Just so you know. Just so you know. CNN did a poll, and in the poll they said, Trump for security is the best. Trump for the military is the best. Trump for the economy is the best. I don't mean by a little bit. I mean by so much you wouldn't believe it, by 40 points, 50 points. I was in the 60 percentiles, and that's where we had like 12 people. Trump for so many things. Trump for leadership is the best. Trump at the border is the best. True. Trump, now this probably had to do with Sheriff Joe and all, but Trump for the border is the best, and because I'm so good on the border, and believe me, we're going to have people come in, they come in legally, and they're going to go through a process, but legally. But we are going to be really strong on the border. We're going to have the strongest border anywhere. Nobody's going to have a border like us, believe me. Believe me. And you know, because I thought it was a little bit funny. You know, the Pope came out and he sort of said some things, and this was the day of the election. The Pope. And they came to me, they said, Mr. Trump, the Pope just made some statements about you. I said, the Pope? What do I have to do with the Pope? I said, don't tell me this. This is like 10 hours before the election, right? South Carolina, the election, I have a question. The Pope is hitting me hard. And he said things about the border, and you can't have a wall. And I said, wow, but I've seen the Vatican. That's the biggest, strongest wall I've ever seen, right? I've never seen a wall like that. In fact, I want to use that as my model for the wall we want to build. But anyway, no, the Mexican officials who are very smart, don't forget, they're making a fortune with us. Trade deficit with Mexico, $58 billion a year. These politicians come up to me. They used to say, you can't really build a wall, can you? And I say, China, 13,000 miles, the Great China Wall, the Wall of China, right? 13,000 miles long. It was built 2,000 years ago. No, we can't build a wall with Caterpillar tractors all over the place. So that's 13,000. We need 1,000. All right? And we're going to make it higher. I want to make it higher than the wall in China so that we can say, won't be as wide, but it'll be higher. Okay? That I can tell you. So we go on, and let me just explain something. We're going to have such great security, that we're going to be the model for the world. We're going to be a model for the rest of the world. We have gone from being a laughingstock. We'll go to the exact opposite. One of the things that you see, and I say all the time, we don't win anymore. We don't beat ISIS. We're going to knock the hell out of them, folks. We don't win with health care. We're going to have great health care. We don't win with education. You know, I was going to say on education, right? To be ranked number 30th and to spend that kind of money is so sad. is so sad. We're going to balance our budgets relatively quickly. I don't want to do it too quickly, but it can go very quickly. Some of the politicians said we think we can balance them over a 25-year period. Do you believe that? Over a 25-year period. There was a man in baseball. Did anyone ever hear of Charles O. Finley? Charles O. George Steinbrenner was a great friend of mine. Charles Finley used to drive him crazy. He said, Donald, this guy is so great. He had no money, but he would have the best team. He had Catfish Hunter. He had Reggie Jackson. He had the lowest salary in baseball by far, right, for those, and he won 3 World Series in a row. Then he'd take the players, Reggie Jackson, and he'd trade them. That's what we want to be. We don't want to spend our money. We want to be the best at everything without having necessarily to spend it. It's like I say, to spend the least on a campaign and to be the best, we want to do that for our country. And we're going to do that for our country. We're going to. I love these people. I love these people. So, the most important thing we can all do, we got to do, I'm telling you, I'm going to be at everyone, I'm going to be all over the place tomorrow. The most important thing we can do is, I'm not going to use the word caucus. I'm going to use the word just vote, because people say, I don't want to give you an excuse. What the hell is caucus? Nobody even knows what it means. We have a great Republican Party right here in the state. Where is my Republican Party? Where are they? Where's my leader? Where is my leader? And they're going to be watching. You know, it is Las Vegas. It's a little tricky. I could tell you some pretty bad stories about what happened in Iowa, but I won't tell you about that, all right? These caucusing. So we're going to go out tomorrow and we're going to have a big victory, hopefully. I mean, frankly, if the people in this room went out and did it, would win practically with that amount of people. So we're going to go out tomorrow and we're going to get it started. You look at the cover of Time magazine. The cover of Time magazine from a couple of weeks ago, it talks about the movement. It's a picture of me standing like this with a massive audience, a picture of the back of my head, and I had my hair combed just perfectly. It was so good. I don't know if they did a touch-up, but I liked it. But it was a picture of me speaking to a massive crowd of people, and they said, there has never been a thing like this that's ever happened in politics in the history of this country. Amazing. So you're going to go out and vote, and here's the story. We're going to start winning again. We're going to start feeling good about ourselves again. We're going to get rid of people that are incompetent, people that negotiated an Iran deal and don't know what they're doing. We're going to have the best people in the world negotiating our trade deals. We're going to break up the trade deals. We're going to make money instead of losing money with every country in the world. We're going to bring our jobs back to this country where they belong. We're going to bring our jobs back. And remember, we're going to start winning again. We're going to win on trade. We're going to win with the military. We're going to win at every single level. We're going to win, win, win. And I jokingly say that we're going to win so much that maybe you're going to say, Mr. President, we're getting so bored and so tired of winning. Please don't win anymore. We're just tired. Let's go back to the old way. And I'll say, there's no way we're going to make America great again. And we're going to keep winning, winning, winning. And I love you. We're going to win. Go out tomorrow and vote. Thank you. I love you.